to test out the Baby Jack. So I got some down at the Classic, grabbed a decent amount of them, but do we really know what they're about? All the pros have been talking about them, but nobody's throwing them. So I got a jackhammer, a Baby Jack, and a Mini Max in my pocket. We're headed to the pond. It's like 30 degrees. I'm bundled up. We're gonna make a few casts with each, see if I can get some footage, but at least I'll be able to explain to you how they feel, how they start up, how they run, and give you a better opinion on what is this Baby Jack gonna do and what is it best for. All right, all these tests will be with my Dobbins Sierra 734C, which is my normal chatterbait rod, SLX XT, 7-1, something like that, and with 15-pound big game mono. I'm gonna start with the jackhammer, get myself refamiliarized with myself on how it feels, how it casts, all that kind of stuff. And I've just got an Arsenal Ballistic Ned trailer, something that doesn't have a lot of pull on it, so I can really feel what the chatterbait does. I don't know how well you can see that. We got a little bit of stain in this water. The jackhammer definitely does its jackhammer thing. Second up, throwing the Mini Max a little bit. Much more subtle action, much like I remember. Doesn't really thump or hammer that hard. Time to bust this 3/8 ounce Baby Jack out. And I've already thrown these two. We'll try this one next. We'll put the same Arsenal trailer on this one. All right, there she is, rigged up in hand. Time to make a few casts. Try to get a action of it swimming there. Made half a dozen casts with each one of these. Got a good feel for what they do and don't do so far. I'm gonna head back to the house where it's a little warmer. Let's break down what I found out. I'm gonna make a few casts as I head back. So meet you at the house. All right. So here should be everything you need to know on the new Baby Jack versus the original jackhammer. I've got some 3/8 ounce ones that I've grabbed from the Classic, and we're gonna go into detail on what's the difference. I've gone out and fished them a little bit, and I'm gonna share my feedback. So looking at them side by side, obviously it's a little more compact. The components are largely all the same, just downsized. A little bit smaller hook, a little bit smaller head, a little bit smaller blade, but the interactions and that kind of stuff are pretty similar. And then there's the Mini Max next to the jackhammer, a little bit smaller hook, less of a skirt, less of a premium skirt, not as many colors. So the Baby Jack comes in 10 of the best jackhammer colors, comes in 1/4 ounce, 3/8 and a half. So you get access to some smaller weight sizes in the Baby Jack, which is nice. So if you like to fish really shallow water around shallow grass, river systems, things like that, or you just want to be able to fish a slower, smaller bait, much slower, and still get some of that action and premium components, the Baby Jack is a nice option. Well, I guess I want to share this with you to make sure you guys know what you're getting before you plop down 17, 18 bucks or whatever it is when they hit retailers here really soon. Looks like Omnia will have them really soon. You can go out and you can set a reminder so when they hit, you can grab them, get a notification to be one of the first ones to grab them. I was able to get mine down at the Bassmaster Classic where there was an exclusive at the Thorn Brothers Expo. So I grabbed a handful there. Plus, I should have a code down in the description below that should save you 15% off at Omnia when they do drop. So go ahead and set up that notification and be ready to grab some if you want some. But I want to give you the details before you spend your money to know, are you getting a jackhammer? Are you getting a Mini Max? And is the Baby Jack really worth the money, right? And what are you paying for? So first thing, out in the pond, got to test them. I went out there and I threw them, and you can see some of the footage. It was super windy and cold, so I don't have a ton of footage. The water was muddy. Tried to get a little swim test here, but re-threw the jackhammer, got myself reacquainted with that. It's the same, you know, as I'd expect, right? Like the immediate startup, the nice jackhammer thump, things like that you become accustomed to. So kind of got that redialed in my head, right? Then I threw the Mini Max, which I've thrown before, and the Mini Max definitely does not feel like a jackhammer. If you've ever thrown a Mini Max, it's a much more subtle, tight, almost feels like you're throwing like a 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait or a scrounger head. It's got a very tight, different action on it. And I want to see where the Baby Jack landed in between because, you know, it's the profile. It's actually a little bigger than this, right? Like the skirting material does make it feel a little more full-bodied than the Mini Max. Here you can see the traditional 3/8 ounce jackhammer, green pumpkin shad, Beehite Delight, and the Baby Jack, and then a Mini Max and something like Spot Remover. You can see a couple things here is the amount of skirt is a lot less with the Mini Max. Similar quality of material and body of skirt between the Jackhammer and the Baby Jack. The Baby Jack hook's still a little bigger than the Mini Max, but then not as big as, so like this is like a 4 or 5/0 hook, a 3/0 hook, and then maybe like a 2/0 with the Mini Max. You can see Jackhammer, Baby Jack have the same style hook keepers, whether you like them or love them or don't like them. They are very similar between those two. And then the Mini Max, more traditional double lead barb. So there's the difference in the better difference on the hook sizes and the keepers. I think it's important to show the connection point and the blade sizes. You can see the blade sizes between the Mini Max and the Baby Jack almost identical. Obviously, you're getting the painted blades with the Baby Jack and kind of more plain blades with the Mini Max. You get the decoy snap like you do on the Jackhammer, so different quality components. But if you look at the range of movement on the head, quite a bit more movement before the blade hits the head on the Mini Max, whereas you've got a tighter range of motion before it hits the head on the Baby Jack. In comparison, similar to what it's closer to the Jackhammer, but I would say the Jackhammer almost has a little more range of motion before it hits the head. But these two are definitely more similar in how the head design and the blade interacts. And there's just a little close-up of the Baby Jack sitting inside of the Jackhammer. It's just a slightly smaller hook, but still those high-quality black nickel hooks, and quite a bit bigger hook than the Mini Max. So you're getting that compact style. So there's kind of a close-up of the Baby Jack on the right next to the Jackhammer on the left, on size, components, all that kind of stuff. But you get all the same premium components in a little bit smaller design. So I threw the Baby Jack, and it definitely does not thump like a Jackhammer. You don't feel that Jackhammer. I've never thrown the Stealth, so I can't give you my opinion on that. But I would definitely say on the spectrum of Jackhammer to Mini Max, the Baby Jack leans a little more Mini Max. It does start up nice. You can run it. It gets down easier. It's easier to slow roll because of the smaller blade, but it definitely does not thump the same. So you definitely are not just getting the same big thump in a small package. So if that's what you're looking for, the Baby Jack is not going to give you that. You're going to get something that's going to have a little more thump than the Mini Max, with better premium components and better color options, a little bigger hook, and a little more vibration, or a little more thump than the Mini Max. That's my initial impressions. Now, if you want to hover a smaller bait in that 1/4 ounce, that's really attractive. If you want to fish around shallow ped stems and shallow weed beds early in the spring. Also, just when you get that smaller bait in river systems and reservoirs at certain times in the year and the key in that smaller bait, I think this could be a good thing. Overall, I definitely think I will add a few. Smallmouth fisheries, spotted bass, ponds. You want the premium components with a smaller offering and a little more subtle. I think that's the Baby Jack in a nutshell. Do I think the Baby Jack is going to change the game and reinvent it? No. Is it going to be another chatterbait arrow in your quiver that you can show the fish something different and a little different vibration, a little different size and things like that? Yes. Is this going to be a muddy water banger? No. Is this going to be a clear to stained water fish catcher? Probably. So there you go. Now you know what you're getting before you plop down your money. I grabbed a bunch at the Classic Expo. I'm going to fish them a whole lot more. I've seen some fish catches. I've seen some people post stuff on social media about catching them with the ones they got at the Classic Expo. But that is your intro to the Baby Jack. So if you got any more questions down in the chat between the Jackhammer and the Baby Jack, let me know. Try to answer them, and hopefully you'll see them in some fishing videos coming up very soon. If you know you love chatterbaits, but your hookups aren't that great, you don't land as many fish as you want, and you like some tips on the best rod to land more fish, check out this video on the screen right here next.